The Terran Dominion, Beginnings.
In the sprawling Milky Way galaxy, humanity had risen first to explore and conquer the cosmos. Their empire, the Terran Dominion, spanned multiple solar systems, their technology hundreds of years ahead of any other species, and their power had no rival. At the helm of the empire, with Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the 24th emperor, known as a wise ruler, it was an age of prosperity, pace, and culture. Over time, they watched 5 new species risen slowly among the stars, but mankind kept hidden and watched them from afar. These species were the Drakavians, reptilian warriors known for their brute strength, the Silpha, ethereal beings capable of manipulating energy, the Arex, a spider-like species with unmatched strategic minds, the Xyla, amphibious tacticians with advanced aquatic technology, the Corans, insectoid beings with a hive mentality and rapid adaptability, and the Takari, shapeshifters who excelled in espionage and sabotage. Among them, the Drakavians had better technology than the other 4, so they expanded faster and were the first to reach one colony of Terran Dominion. By mistake, yes, a mistake that will haunt them and the entire galaxy for generations to come. On Dravak Prime, the capital city of Zargath stood as a testament to the Drakavian strength and architectural prowess. Towering spires and massive fortresses made of black stone and steel rose from the ground, each structure adorned with the trophies of past victories.
The Drakavians had always been a race that respected power and might, and their architecture reflected this ethos. In the heart of Zargath lay the Conclave of Scales, the central seat of Drakavian governance. The conclave was a vast, circular arena surrounded by tiered seating where the most powerful Drakavians convened to discuss matters of state, war, and honor. At the center of the conclave stood the High Warlord Therakvarn, a towering figure clad in intricately crafted armor that bore the marks of numerous battles. His scales were a deep crimson, signifying his noble lineage and countless victories. Therak's eyes, a piercing yellow, scanned the gathered leaders with a mix of authority and expectation. To his right was Skarneth, the chief tactician, known for his brilliant mind and strategic acumen. Unlike many Drakavians, Skarneth's scales were a muted green, a mark of his intellect rather than physical prowess. He was responsible for devising the battle plans that had brought Dravak Prime many victories against both internal and external threats. On Therak's left was Zarana, the war priestess. Clad in ceremonial armor, her scales shimmered with an iridescent hue, reflecting her role as both a spiritual leader and a warrior. Zarana's role was to ensure that the Drakavians remained true to their warrior's code, and that their battles were fought with honor. As the leaders took their places, the arena filled with the murmurs of anticipation. The Conclave of Scales was not just a council, it was a spectacle where decisions were often punctuated with displays of strength and combat prowess. Today's gathering was of particular importance, as it would determine the Drakavians' next move in the galactic dominance. Therak Varn raised his hand, calling for silence. Warriors of Dravak Prime, he began, his voice echoing through the arena. Our scouts exploring a new solar system for habitable planets have discovered a colony that is occupied by a new species. For now, we don't know if that solar system is their home or not, but from what information we could gather, we came to the conclusion that this species is pacifist and their technology does not surpass our technology. As you know, our planets are overpopulated, and this system has 4 planets that can be inhabited by us and 6 other planets with an abundance of resources that are vital to our army. Today, we gathered here to make a decision on how to proceed to take that system. Skarneth stepped forward, his sharp mind already at work. High Warlord, since it is just a small colony, we should strike fast and hard. Not only that, we have to take a strong fleet to demonstrate our power. We should conquer the system quickly and leave one of our fleet there. We should conquer the system quickly and leave one of our flotillas there as a fear factor. It will help us in the future in negotiations, or even as a vanguard to conquer their home planet if necessary. The arena buzzed with approval. The Drakavians respected direct action, and Skarneth's plan resonated with their warrior ethos. One of the leaders stood up and asked, "Don't you think we are moving too fast? We should examine the situation better before making such an important decision." His name was Goru. Zarana, the war priestess, raised her voice, Leader Goru, I understand that you are worried about certain aspects, but you also know our traditions, and not to mention that we have not met anyone who could face us. Let us not forget our honor. We must face our enemies head-on and show them the true might of Dravak Prime. Our warriors must be prepared to fight not only with strength, but with the spirit of our ancestors. Harak Varn nodded, considering the words of his advisors. We will combine our strengths, he declared. Skarneth, prepare the tactical plans for the strikes on the colony. Zorana, rally our warriors and prepare them for the battles to come. We will strike swiftly and decisively. The leaders of the conclave pounded their chests in unison, sign of agreement and solidarity. The Drakavians were ready to unleash their might upon this new solar system. The Terran Dominion, Beginnings. Chapter 2. The Siege of Varnus IV. Varnus IV was the first colony that was posted in that solar system, and it was young. Only 5 years old. Most of the people were workers, researchers, and military personnel for protection. In total, there were only 100,000 people. As for the defense, it was non-existent. Small platforms with weapons, a few fighters, and 2 civilian spaceships in orbit that were used for resupply. The colony's sky was filled with the activity of countless drones and shuttles. Oblivious to the impending doom, High Warlord Therak Varn stood on the bridge of the Drakavian flagship, Wrath of Dravak, a colossal dreadnought bristling with weapons. Around him, the Drakavian fleet gathered frigates, battleships, and destroyers, all ready for battle. Therak's eyes glowed with anticipation as he gazed at the holographic display of Varnus IV. Warriors of Dravak, today, we strike a blow that will be felt across the galaxy, Therak proclaimed. Today, you are part of history, when the Drakavians will add another solar system under their name. Prepare for battle. The Drakavian fleet emerged from hyperspace on the edge of the Varnus IV system. Alarms blared across the Terran colony as the massive warships appeared. Human defenses scrambled to respond, but the speed and coordination of the Drakavian attack caught them off guard. The Wrath of Dravak led the charge, its massive railguns firing kinetic projectiles that ripped through the outer defenses. Following closely were the destroyers, Fang of Zargath and Stormclaw, which unleashed volleys of plasma torpedoes, targeting key installations and defensive platforms. Frigates like Shadowstrike and Viperfang darted between the larger ships, their rapid-fire cannons and point defense systems, engaging Terran fighter squadrons. The sky above Varnus IV became a chaotic dance of laser fire and explosions. Above the planet, the Wrath of Dravak targeted the shipyards, launching devastating strikes that sent debris raining down onto the colony below. Skarneth, the chief tactician, monitored the battle from his command station, issuing orders with precision. With the space battle tipping in favor of the Drakavians, Therak Varn gave the order to commence the ground invasion. Dropships, heavily armored and bristling with weapons, descended from the Drakavian ships, piercing the atmosphere of Varnus IV. Zorana, the war priestess, led the ground forces, her voice echoing through the coms as she inspired her warriors. Drakavians, today, we fight not just for glory, but for the future of our people. Show no mercy and take this world for Dravak. The Drakavian dropships landed amidst the industrial sectors of the colony, deploying wave after wave of reptilian warriors. Equipped with plasma rifles and energy blades, the Drakavians moved with brutal efficiency, cutting down Terran defenders who tried to hold their ground. Drakavian forces stormed through the streets, their heavy armor and relentless assault overwhelming the human defenders. Terran soldiers, though well-trained, were no match for the sheer ferocity and physical strength of the Drakavian warriors. As the battle reached its peak, Zorana led a charge towards the central command center of New Haven. Her energy blade carved through the human ranks, her warriors following her with unwavering loyalty. The command center was heavily fortified, but the Drakavians pressed on, their determination unyielding. Inside the command center, General Varen coordinated the defense. Hold them off as long as you can. We need to evacuate the civilians and secure our data, and send a SOS message, he ordered. Several soldiers answered with a yes, sir. The Drakavians breached the perimeter, and the final showdown began. Zorana confronted General Varen, their eyes locking in a moment of mutual respect and recognition of the warrior spirit. But at the same time, General Varen takes out a plasma gun and starts shooting. The same goes for the other soldiers. All the soldiers fall down, shot with the general, but not before wounding the princess. The battle for Varnus IV was brutal and costly, and the colony, now under Drakavian control, became a symbol of their might and a rallying point for their continued campaign. The Drakavians had won this battle, but the war for the galaxy was far from over. The siege of Varnus IV would be remembered as the biggest mistake the Drakavians could make, and the day an ancient monster was awakened, full of rage. From the command center, Priestess Zarana emerged, her armor battered and a deep gash running across her left side, a testament to the ferocity of the combat she had endured. Despite her injuries, her posture remained defiant and proud. Therak approached her, his expression hardening as he saw her condition. "Zarana," Therak's voice rumbled, a mix of concern and respect. "You fought with the spirit of our ancestors, but you are wounded. You should seek medical attention immediately." Zarana shook her head, wincing slightly from the pain. "The wounds will heal, High Warlord. What matters is that we secured victory for Dravak Prime." Zarana took a deep breath, her eyes meeting Therak's with a fierce determination. "I will rest when our enemies are vanquished, Therak. This species, from what I have seen, are resilient. They will regroup and retaliate. We must be ready to face them with everything we have." Multiple ships began to spread in the solar system to ensure safety and show that this is their domain. But at the same time, somewhere in the void, a red SOS button began to glow in the situation station in the Admiralty in Sector 30. Chapter 3: The Awakening. In Sector 50, a cruiser floats in the black void. This cruiser is the new model in its class. Its crew consists of only 20 members due to artificial intelligence. Most systems are operated by AI, and the decision-making power belongs to the crew. This cruiser isn't big, but it packs a punch with 80 missiles ZIM-200 SAMs that can destroy any cruiser or any battleship, 24 nano-nuclear warhead torpedoes that can destroy a small fleet, and 16 antimatter missiles each can produce a small black hole that destroys everything in their vicinity. 2 plasma cannons and 2 railguns plus large energy shield, drones, and invisibility. In short, you can fight a small war alone. The cruiser Luna was commanded by Captain Carson. Captain Alexander Carson was born on the human colony of Arcadia. At the age of 18, Alexander enrolled in the prestigious Terran Military Academy, one of the most competitive and rigorous institutions in the Terranian Dominion, and he graduated at the top of his class, earning accolades for his exceptional strategic acumen and combat skills. Upon graduation, Alexander was assigned to various frontier outposts where he gained invaluable field experience. His first major command was on the frigate Ironclad, where he demonstrated an uncanny ability to adapt to rapidly changing battlefield conditions. His decisive actions during a skirmish with a rogue band of pirates earned him commendations and a promotion to captain at the young age of 28, and the right to be the captain of the cruiser Luna. At this moment, Captain Carson is sleeping in his cabin when he is awakened by a voice. "Captain Carson, Captain Carson." It was AI Benji's voice. "What is it, Benji?" asked Captain Carson. "I received an urgent message from the Admiralty. You should go quickly to the command deck." Once he arrived on the command deck, Captain Carson was met by a monitor in which an admiral was visibly irritated. "Captain Carson, we have received an urgent distress message. The Varnus IV colony is under attack by an unknown species. You are the closest ship, and your orders are for the Luna cruiser to move immediately to intercept. Once you arrive, assert the situation and try to obtain information. And if they attack me? If they attack, you have the right to retaliate. If they are strong like us, try to buy as much time as possible. I have already spoken with Battleship Cairo and Battleship Venus, and some destroyers are already en route, but they will be delayed. Now you have your orders. Go." "Yes, sir." Benji set a course for Sector 51. "Use invisibility and increase the power of the sensors to the maximum." "Yes, sir." Benji's voice is heard. "Ladies and gentlemen, May I have your attention? A few hours ago, an unknown species attacked the Varnus 4 colony in Sector 51. As the closest ship we were selected to intercept. Don't be afraid, you have trained for a day like this. So to the battle stations. We reached the range of the sensors. We detected multiple signatures. The voice of an officer can be heard. Her name was Gina. How many, Gina? 100 ships, Captain. 4 dreadnoughts, 6 battleships, 15 cruisers, 25 destroyers, 20 corvettes, and the other 20 appear to be troop transports. Benji, can you look at what technology those ships have on them? Yes. It seems that we have them in the system. They are called Drakavians, and their technology is primitive compared to ours. Seriously? In the moment when we come out from hyperspace, contact them. Yes, sir. 30 minutes later, the cruiser Luna come out from hyperspace and started contacting them. Unidentified vessels. This is the Luna cruiser of the Terranian Dominion Armed Forces. You have violated our space. Identify yourselves. I am High Warlord Therak Varnov of the Drakavians. This solar system no longer belongs to you. Now it is ours. Stop the engines and surrender. I'm sorry, but I can't do that, High Warlord Therak Varnov. You have violated our space. I advise you to be careful before making a hasty decision. Only laughter was heard from the other side of the intercom as the intercom stopped and a barrage of torpedoes and plasma weapons began to hit the ship's shield. Cruiser Luna, cloaked in invisibility, approaches the Drakavian fleet and moves within striking range. It launches a volley of 16 antimatter missiles aimed at the heart of the Drakavian formation. The antimatter missiles strike the lead dreadnoughts, creating small black holes that tear through the fabric of spacetime. The resulting destruction causes 2 dreadnoughts and 4 battleships to be sucked into the void, creating chaos among the Drakavian ranks. Realizing the devastating capability of the Luna, the Drakavian fleet regroups. The remaining 2 dreadnoughts and 2 battleships form a protective barrier, while the cruisers and destroyers spread out to detect the invisible threat. Luna moved their position, and it starts with its plasma cannons and railguns, targeting the exposed Drakavian ships. Plasma bolts pierce through one dreadnought's hull, causing it to explode from within. Simultaneously, railgun slugs shred 2 cruisers and a battleship. Meanwhile, the Drakavian ships were firing in all directions with no result, and ship after ship were exploding. At the same time, High Warlord Therak Varnov, Zarana, the War Priestess, and Skarneth, the Chief Tactician, began to feel something they had never felt before. Fear, like a prey being pursued by a predator. They have never seen such overwhelming power in their lives. Switching tactics, the Luna releases a swarm of support drones. These drones provide targeting data for the next wave of attacks. Luna then fires 24 nano-nuclear warhead torpedoes, aimed at the cluster of Drakavian destroyers and corvettes. The torpedoes detonate among the tightly packed ships, annihilating a significant portion of the fleet. The explosion chain reacts through the corvettes, leaving only scattered debris in its wake. On board of Luna, Captain, we have run out of heavy ammunition. What should we do? Before Captain Carson had a chance to answer, 10 dispersions in space appeared, and from the black void 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 4 destroyers appeared, guns blazing, turning that solar system into a concert of death, but at the same time beautiful. Those ships were the battleships Cairo and Venus, accompanied by the cruisers Thor and Loki, and the 4 bloodthirsty destroyers Revenge, the Black Knight, the Blue Wolf, and the Viking, unleashing hell on everything that moves. Didn't take long for only one ship to remain. That ship was the Drakavian flagship, Wrath of Dravukthi. They were lucky because they were behind the fleet, and taking the chance like a dying man would catch the god by the leg, they warp in space. With the end of the battle, cheers could be heard from the cruiser Luna. It was their first real battle, and they behaved perfectly. Okay, people, calm down. We have to secure the sector until we receive new orders, the captain's voice is heard. In the aftermath, the battlefield is littered with the wreckage of the Drakavian fleet, and with tens of thousands of soldiers stranded on the planet. Cruiser Luna, though strained from the immense energy output and slight damage to its cloak, stands victorious. The lone cruiser has successfully, almost alone, defeated a vastly superior fleet through superior firepower, tactical ingenuity, and advanced technology. Zeta Prime remains under the control of cruiser Luna and the rest, a testament to their unmatched capabilities in space warfare.